Welcome. This is David Boles, Human Meme. Today's topic: thoughts on the human form. When a stupid man is doing something he is ashamed of, he always declares that it is his duty. George Bernard Shaw. Are we ever satisfied with who we are and what we were born to become? We can't change our DNA or genetics after birth, at least not yet anyway. And so what we look like and what makes us unique on a cellular level is pretty well set. Yet some of us are not satisfied. We want bigger muscles, a thinner chin, bigger breasts, or larger or skinnier behinds. We spend our money on not just looking better, but looking unlike us. We are creating a temporal ideal of what beauty should be and not what it really is without change. Now, I'm not talking about birth defects or orthodontics or surgeries to replace what has been cut and stolen or lost to war or cancer or unfortunate accident. I'm talking about the voluntary, I hate myself people who convince themselves they'll look better if they only change their nose and forehead and wrinkles and kinkles. Just one more thing, and I'll be perfect. And the problem with that thinking is perfection is not even momentary or fleeting. It never exists. Oh, sure. You'll convince yourself the $30,000 you spent on liposuction makes you happier, prettier, and a better person. But you also know, as you sit alone in the dark at night, that the facade can never really replace the decaying infrastructure. And that's the hard and hoary fact that we are always marching forward into the twilight, into the fateful fruits of gravity. And we have no real way out of the cesspool of aging except to deal with it and not fight it, and to accept the consequences of living a beautiful, if common, unretouched human life. But too many of us are obsessed with remaining young and looking pretty. It is unacceptable to look old, or to have a suggestion that you actually look and act your real age. It's all deception and magic. Look over there, not here. And don't let my bright smile suggest to you that I'm anything over 30, because only shiny white teeth belong to the young and the unconsecrated. And the price we pay for this falsified beauty is cruelty in the extremity. We have been hateful and unaccepting of ourselves, and in that rejection of the shell of the self on the shelf, we accelerate the dry rot from within our boneless bodies. And we have been given so many gifts, the gift of life, and yet we settle for faux outrage and crowd appeal in order to shine the facade into shinola. And now, what of our other rebirths and transformations that fail us, just like changing our human form? Yes, the spiritual revelation can be powerful, but is it always genuine? Sure, some may believe they have been saved by belief, saved that prayer and faith alone can restore virginity. But what are we really saying about the sanctity of the process of conquering and separation in the light of saints and angels and other consequential pinnacles of faith? How do we evaluate what is being told to us from the divine when we are not those who leap among the holy and the resurrected? What place is it of ours in order to try, and then fail, to live in their example? How many failures are too many? How many tries are never enough? And what of the false claim of the new man? How many times have we heard about the husband or the boyfriend who cheats or lies, only to have an epiphany later when caught in the act of unfaithfulness and deception? And while his impulse to reform may be genuine, but we know it is likely not possible for the serial character cheater and the daily liar to now lead an uncorrupted life. The inside is the lie. The glinty future, bright and shiny like new patent leather shoes, is only there to blind you with a promise without performance. And what of the unreliable friend who always claims loyalty and faithfulness in the shared covenant of belonging, but who always also finds an excuse never to meet, or who refuses to commit seeing you until the last possible moment, in case something better comes along? We cannot freely abide these determinative deceptions in facade and behavior, because they weaken the strength of us. What resolve can we possibly consider against those who actively set about to deceive us by not being who they truly are? Do we want the perpetual liar or the sometime saint? One of them, at least, is wholly predictable in knowing and revolution. And what do we do about the successful chameleon who appears as they are, but not as they were? And we have no history of recourse to suss out their original intention of birth. Do we risk the chemical entropy of reproducing with someone that we think we know by seeing, but never by being? Is the genetic surprise in the birth of the offspring, while never knowing the evil deed of the scalpel and a doctor's anesthetic beforehand, an acceptable risk factor in human regeneration? And my friend, how many times do we bargain with the liar? The liar who gets ahead by foolishness and investing against dishonesty. There are terms of repercussion for people like those, found in ghostly graveyards and on social media. And no matter how many truths they must invest against, their hubris is still there for the conquering and the counting. And while we may be taken in, we can never claim to be taken aback. We must trust by default, and we verify in error. And so we get the big gain by resisting the simple solution. We don't change who we are in order to trick someone out of something they value. We must always reveal our true selves, especially our ugliest core, all in order to be taken seriously and without the suspicion of an ongoing observation. We win the moment with the plain, human-speaking truth that in total, we are only what we are, and never what we become. For in the planting is the change, and in the change the deception, and in the deception is the violation of a birthright veracity that only arrives bundled in self-esteem and joy, with the weight of the unbridled, unworldly, both carefully balanced against our shoulders, and edging us unfaithfully forward into becoming what we never were, beneath blood and bone. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.